Well, it is a day that has stayed with them in small ways and major ways. A little boy disappeared in the sands of the Indiana dunes, touching off a dramatic rescue that brought an Illinois family's faith to the forefront. And tonight, we're hearing from them and one of their rescuers for the first time in the decade since it happened. What's true of the Indiana dunes is true of any body of water. Danger lurks under the surface. There have been more than 20 drownings in these Lake Michigan waters since 2010. In 2013, one drowning was hundreds of yards away from the lake. In fact, this threat to a 6-year-old boy didn't involve a drop of water. And its unthinkable occurrence astounded the world.
We are back at 7:43 with the recovery of a young boy who was literally swallowed by a sand dune in Indiana.
6-year-old boy swallowed up by a massive sand dune along Lake Michigan.
It was a July day on a family outing to the popular beach at Mount Baldy, a 126-foot dune an hour's drive from Chicago. The Weisner family made that trip from their home in Sterling, Illinois. That's where we found Nathan's parents to take us back to that traumatic summer day a decade ago.
It pretty much started as, was it a weekend, a long weekend out camping with friends. There was a trail going up to the top of the dunes.
Nathan and his friend were following their dads.
I actually took off running up and then...
and they're chasing after you?
Yes.
Suddenly, a panicked call to the dads from the friend who said Nathan disappeared in a hole. There was initial confusion. There it was.
Plain as day. It's a round, black, 15 to 18 inch diameter, perfectly round hole. Just right straight down.
Greg could hear Nathan but couldn't see him.
Was actually talking with Nathan. He was still down there. You could tell he was worked up, scared, just trying to pretty much calm him down, telling him, we'll get to you, don't worry.
But then, seconds later,
as we're digging, and then at that point, time's moving so fast at that point, but then the whole collapse.
Nathan's friend ran down to get help. The other dad ran over the dune to the parking lot to a phone to call 911.
911. Yes, I'm at the Mount Baldy beach, and my friend's son, he got stuck in a sand dune, and he's like under the sand, and they can't get him out.
By then, the other boy made it to Nathan's mom.
Just by the tone of his voice and his expression, he was just so frightened. And it frightened me, and my mind couldn't grasp or understand. And I just remember, no, 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 no.
Together, on their knees, furiously clawing at the sand, the situation was dire.
And I was digging, and Greg was digging, and we were just digging with all of our might in this sand that just was so unforgiving. I immediately began praying and asking God to give him air to breathe, to hold him. And I just kind of kept repeating that over and over, you know, hold him, give him air to breathe.
Emergency responders arrived. Strangers joined in with shovels at first, then excavating equipment.
If you ever dig in sand, you're never getting anywhere unless you try to get so big.
A backhoe was brought in, but still no sign of Nathan.
I remember telling him, I need him back. I need you to give him back to me. I know he's special, but I need him back. And it was just that same prayer over and over and over.
Agonizingly, the effort stretched on.
At this point, it's been so long. They're on a recovery mission now, more than a rescue.
This has all changed so much, too.
Josh Zimmer was prepared for the worst. He was called upon to bring his bigger backhoe to pick up where the smaller one left off. Together, they did the careful work of digging.
It's very slow, very meticulous. Ryan had a probe, which is a metal rod. It's about 4 foot down, and he would just probe in the ground to see if he could feel something. And then we would do what we call a grid, and I would just nice and gentle, like 2 inches at a time.
Then the news finally came. More than 3 hours later, nearly 12 feet underground, They reached Nathan after unearthing 400 tons of sand. But as many feared, the outcome was grim. His body was limp and cold. He had no pulse.
I don't know if you want to call the mood at that point was very quiet and sad and still, because nobody knew. He had no vital signs.
And here, in this moment of darkness, as Greg and Faith were on their way to the hospital to identify the body, is where the miracle on Mount Baldy was revealed. A paramedic noticed a wound on Nathan's face was bleeding, telling him his heart was still pumping.
They were into a frenzy, and suddenly, he was back, and then they were doing everything they could to stabilize him.
They rushed us over to the hospital, and but that's the point right there in that waiting room. Buddy came in just right to her. He's alive.
Best words I ever heard.
This is Nathan today. He's going to Unity Christian School in Fulton, where he's now a 16-year-old sophomore.
Well, I don't remember much about it. I do remember walking up the hill beside my friend. The next thing I remember is I'm waking up in a hospital with a bunch of nurses and everyone around me.
He bears no sign of his childhood trauma, physically or emotionally. He's a standout athlete on the school's basketball team. He plays soccer and is a member of the brand new school volleyball team. What he does have is gratitude.
God was there, and God was the reason that I'm still here today. I'll just be casually thinking or about something, and it'll come to mind, and it just reminds me and it gives me hope that there's a plan and that I'm meant for something.
He doesn't live in a way that is timid or shy. He's very vivacious.
Jackie Haas has been Nathan's teacher since the 7th grade.
He takes what happened to him to really understand that life is an opportunity and a gift, and you really have to enjoy it every day, because he does.
Every experience, every new memory, watching him grow, every birthday, every year completed of school, new sports, new friends, girls, just things at church. I have really thoroughly enjoyed watching him experience that, and it's not lost on me that we could have just as easily not had that.
Oh, yeah.
Someone else was changed by that day. Josh, who also knew that he was part of something bigger than any of them could understand.
I just couldn't sleep that night, and I knew God was real, because he did something that I know was impossible.
That night, he called his family's pastor and was baptized in the church.
My in-laws came, they got out of bed, and my wife and the preacher and his wife were there, and it was a very life-changing moment.
There are stories about a dead tree trunk and an air pocket down in the ground, but I just think the Lord was with me the whole time, and he has a purpose for me, and I don't think my time was then.
I think it was a good year and a half afterwards where this was all shut down. They had sonar machines looking for more of these voids.
How the void developed in the shifting sands is still being studied today. But for everyone involved, there is little doubt about what they all witnessed.
He spoke to me. He spoke to my heart, and he's like, I'm giving him back to you. He's a gift for you. And I love you, and so I'm going to give him back to you. And it was such an overwhelming feeling of just gratitude and awe.
Slow down and just capture and love every moment that you can with your kids, your loved ones.
And 10 years later, parts of Mount Baldy are still roped off. Scientists at the Geological Society of America did discover more voids, decomposing trees that leave holes in the shifting sands, just like the kind that trapped Nathan. There are many similar reports with fatalities over the years. Just a week and a half ago, a teen died after digging a hole that collapsed in North Carolina. So the fact that Nathan survived is still in many ways a miraculous mystery.
Indeed.